Hello, ladies, gentlemen, whatever else you want to call yourself. Nice to see you all, and God bless the Queen. It is her funeral tomorrow. I realise that this is a mostly American thing, and let's be fair, the Americans are not going to A, get it, or B, give a monkeys. But nonetheless, I hope she has a good rest. Let's be honest. She's lived long enough. She needs a rest. Poor cow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Give her about 15, 20 minutes after Charles
You
gets
still-
coronated, and we'll see how much resting she really does.
Are you suggesting that, King Charles is going to be an incompetent, withering, absolute moronic idiot? If not, why not?
I'm
I
saying that.
won't suggest. I will state outright that he is a blithering buffoon and is just stamping his feet, going, "Why didn't she fucking die sooner?"
Yes.
Mama.
Yes.
Mama.
Do you love me now, Mama? Yes. Anyway, Nomad.
What do you think
have
of
some
me
stories.
now, Mother? Do you think that I'm worthy?
Oh dear. Yes.
Greatest send-off in history. 2 million mourners are set to descend on London for the Queen's funeral, with 4 billion watching on television. More than 2 million mourners are set to descend on the capital for the Queen's funeral, while more than 4 billion will watch it on TV. It is expected to be the highest attended event in British history and the television's most watched ever. Okay, mourners are pitching tents in Westminster. Tomorrow's state funeral, which starts
That
at
sounds
11
like
a.m.,
a personal problem.
all right, has also sparked the biggest security operation ever staged in the UK, with more than 15,000 police on duty.
Are they afraid they're going to raid her tomb?
Yesterday, King Charles visited the Met's Special Operations Headquarters in Lambeth, all right, South London. I'm assuming that butchered that name. It's okay. All right.
No, actually,
No,
I will let
no,
you know. You got it right.
fine.
Randolph. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wish to change it to a F, you'd get it right. Perfectly.
Whatever, all right, where officers are planning for the momentous day. He said, "It is encouraging. Everything was going to plan." Adding, "It's nice to know where it all happens." All right, this is the absolute hub, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone knows that everything comes back to Britain at some point. But
I don't. I'm not that's an interesting take, because I'm looking at that going, I thought he was talking about going back to mommy.
let's be fair. At least he knows who his parents are, unlike his kids. I mean, oops, did I say it out loud again?
You
Damn, I
did.
feel it
Yeah,
now.
yeah. That's a nasty habit, Jenson.
Yeah, it's a cop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really hated Princess Di, didn't you?
I could not stand that creature. I loathe her. Okay, I'm going to put. Okay,
Oh,
this will explain
okay.
everything. I hate
Uh-huh.
Princess Diana so much I wouldn't
Oh,
even.
Diana.
eat her.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay. Mhm.
Yes, that's how bad I consider her.
Who do you
I misheard. I thought you said you hated Princess Anne, but no, no, Diana. Yeah, I can
Diana,
completely
yeah.
understand. Yeah.
who do you dislike more? The American Markle or Diana?
Diana.
Hmm.
That gives you a clue how much I despise her. Okay. There is no. The only beneficial thing she gave was when her body turned into fertilizer.
You guys, let's be honest. She gave you William, which is a positive.
Yeah, but she then gave us the ginger twat.
Well, he's not. He's just foolish. Eventually, he'll come around.
He's just foolish.
And
he's
she's
been
like, I
dragged into it.
can't argue against that.
And he's been dragged into that relationship with Merkel. Yeah.
Yeah. I will give you full and fair warning, Nomad. CSG is in the audience. You have been warned.
That's okay.
And from RPR,
Gee, can pull a thumb out his ass and get in here if he wants to argue.
And from RPR, Princess Di, the original SJW. Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
I know that your feelings for her are quite profound.
Oh, am I
But
being subtle again?
but yeah,
damn it.
no. But back to the original thing that you wanted to talk about with this story.
Oh, yes.
Right, is the security and everything. Okay.
Yes.
Do you really think something's going to happen?
Yes. Yes, I do. And the funny thing is, unlike a lot of people who are going to sit here and say, oh, no one's going to do anything because this will happen, this will. What is going to happen is going to be half a dozen people are going to get together, decide it's a good idea, nick a van and go stupid. Okay, it's not going to be an organised, as in governmental organised. It's going to be basically a bunch of, and notice I'm not actually saying who they are. I hope you notice I'm being really careful here. But they are going to acquire a van, and it is, of course, going to be a van of peace. I'm still not saying it is. And then they're going to drive into the crowd and kill an absolute horde of people. If we're really, really lucky, now I just want to point out, if we're lucky, and I do mean really lucky, it's possible that the van will explode and kill Biden.
We're not lucky. We're not lucky at all.
I know, but hey, you never know.
So what you're trying to say is that, that in your opinion, someone's going to sit up there and do a British martyr operation against the president of the United States. Is that what you're trying to say, Jenson?
Pretty much.
One can only hope, but that's not gonna happen.
No, you Americans can say thank you later. By the way, from Susan, wouldn't be Sue environmental nuts do something? I'm not quite certain what she's saying there, but yes, it would not shock me at all if the Extinction Rebellion try and do something.
I'm
that will be the last thing they do.
I'm going to make a comment here, correct? Because I think it's far more likely the Extinction Rebellion will do something than the members of the peaceful religion. Okay, and the reason for that is their own internal optics. Okay, whether you want to sit up there and make a demonstration and do other things. In the case of the I'm just going to say it, ragheads, right? The one thing that they do, whether you like it or not, is they do respect for the most part when people are marching with their dead. Okay.
True.
They do not go in, and if you take a look at their history and the history of that region, okay, when somebody is mourning and they got all the mourners together and they're marching with the coffin and everything, all right, to put the person into the ground, generally you will not see them attack. All right, it is respected. Other people stand down. You know, that's the way it is. Now, as soon as the person's in the ground, all right, all bets are off. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I still think it's funny as hell that Biden's like, nope, you're the only one that gets the invitation, you and your wife. Nobody else is allowed to come with you.
Actually,
for the funeral.
I was talking to Nomad about this earlier. I truly think that as long as Trump actually got an invitation, he should go. He really should. Nothing, not connected with America. Literally, just as Donald Trump, he should go. Because let's be honest.
Yeah.
He sat down and literally had a cup of tea with the Queen. I mean,
No.
But and I think that he probably would if he got an invitation, but he didn't get an invitation. And let's be honest.
We know of.
And look, there is no way Charles is going to sit up there and allow an invitation to end up in Trump's hands.
No, I agree. But can't you imagine this? As the very last thing, as the Queen is dying, she writes out the invitation, puts it hidden, and so it's found later by her people. And Charlie don't even know about it. Yeah, that's right. I'm calling him Charlie. No, I have respect for his position, not the person.
All right. But she's got to respect the institution, and she wouldn't do that because of her respect of the institution. It would be nice to see something like that, but that's not gonna that doesn't happen. Right. But as far as Extinction Rebellion goes, I can see this. Now I will make a comment. All right. London. How many people are in London? About 20 million people.
Yes, we get
In
16
many.
million. We get 16 mil every day just going in and out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
An extra
Like I
2
said.
million people for the funeral is not gonna. I mean, this is gonna be a huge event. I'm not decrying this in any way, shape, or form. Okay,
I
it's
know.
gonna be a huge event. Enjoy. Okay. Right. I mean, it's interesting that you have a funeral like that. Okay, in your country. All right. But that's where it ends for us. Okay. When I say us, I'm talking about the Americans, because we understand it's a head of state. We respect that, but that's where it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
The feeling around the world. Okay, I'm going to be real blunt. We don't care about the rest of the world, okay, and how they feel about things. All right? Except for the leftists in this country. Most Americans don't give a rat's ass how the French feel, how the Germans feel. All right? How the Indonesians feel, how the Chinese feel, all right? We don't care how the Brazilians feel, or the Argentinians, or the Guatemalans, or and we definitely don't care about how the Mexicans feel, okay? or the Canadians, for that matter. All right?
I will remind you, Nomad, as a game conversation we had earlier. When it comes to royalists throughout the world, do you know which country has the most royalists? America. It beats England cold. Okay, so you're saying that America doesn't care. I agree, America as an edifice doesn't overly care. But America as people, a surprising amount of them care. And the disturbing thing is, they're usually the ones that are either A, with money, or B,
Okay.
they're family-owned slaves.
Let's be honest. Let's be real blunt with this. Okay, Americans care about a country that they somehow are attached to. Okay, for example, Irish. All right, an Irish American will care what goes on in Ireland. No one else does. Okay.
Hold it. Whoa. There's no such thing as an Irish American. You lot have no idea.
I
can say
when
it
we
in
talk
half.
about Irish Americans, when we talk about African Americans, we talk about German Americans or Italian Americans or Mexican Americans. What we're referring to is the subculture as it exists within this country. It does not.
No.
These subcultures, and in fairness to what Jenson is saying, these subcultures have almost nothing in common with the cultures of the countries that created them. Okay?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's just certain traditions are kept, but the cultures themselves are completely different. Okay? But Americans do have that kind of personal kind of identity. But it's not a deep identity. It's not a long. For example, one of the things that the Mexican Americans in this country celebrate is Cinco de Mayo. Okay? Cinco de Mayo is only celebrated in one state in Mexico. It's not even a quote-unquote Mexican holiday. Yet all Mexican Americans celebrate it. All right?
Yeah.
All right, this just gives you an example of the differentials between the cultures. What?
Oh, you want a difference? I'll give you a difference, okay? As you know, Chicago has a strange concept of turning the river green on St. Patrick's Day. There are a whole bunch of Irish I was watching, and they actually were talking about this, and it's like, why the bloody hell do they do this? What is wrong with these Americans? And these are Southern Irish asking this. And trust me, if you want to go to a land to get really, really drunk, go to the Liffey, which is the river in Ireland, and it don't so much go green as just don't throw a match in it because it will explode the amount of alcohol that's pissed into it. Okay, I'm being serious. Am I wrong, TC?
No.
All right, but I understand that, and like I said, like I was trying to say, yes. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated as a celebration in America, not as a religious holiday. Right, like it is in Ireland. Right? I mean, it's just understand this. All right, as when I refer to these subcultures within our country, they do not have a lot really in common with the place where they came from, aside from a tradition here and there. All right, enough of that. All right, but I really don't think that the Muzzies all right, are going to do anything in the holiday, all right. And the main reason is because, like I said, from their cultural perspective, this is a dead thing, and they don't do things with the dead. They have a different respect for the dead than even we as Americans do. Okay, it's one of the few things that's somewhat admirable about their culture. Okay,
Yeah.
I will give them that. Okay, the rest of the anyway. On to the next story. On we go, because we got to talk about America. This is becoming a tradition. All right, and far too many. Axe-wielding madman runs amok in New York McDonald's, and nobody was loving it. Not only are you talking about a lunatic running around with an axe, they're making puns about it. Okay? and it continues. It was a Big Mac attack.
Oh, God.
An axe-wielding wingnut ran amok inside the Delancey Street McDonald's, terrorizing patrons and causing thousands of dollars worth of property damage. It sounds like nobody was injured, which is good. Right?
Mm-hmm. Good.
What started as a nothing burger. You see how...
So it sounded like Donald Trump's everything?
Pretty much. Anyway.
Well, someone wanted to slice of the action.
What started as a
Really?
nothing burger, a 2:25 a.m. dispute. What a surprise. 2 in the morning. What could go wrong? Right? Between suspect Michael Pelikos, 31, of the Bronx, and 3 other men escalated into a rampage. The 3 men smacked a smirking Pelikos, who is then seen on video putting his right arm against his head before calmly walking over to his backpack, where he pulled out an axe and then threatened his combatants and frightened patrons. Well, okay. You slapped the guy around and he said, "Okay, bros, let's go." "Bro, please, you better chill," one man told him. All right, the guy had an axe. That's not the time to be going, "Yo, man, chill." He then approached
So it's
one
not just the guys that got fired.
Then he approached the crazed Palicos, then approached one stunned woman with the axe and shouted, "Don't be afraid of me, be afraid of him."
It wasn't just the fries that were salty.
Oh.
No one was loving the early...
What's involved?
And look, I love this. No one was loving the early Friday episode, captured in a TikTok by users Shakes Magoo, who then snarked, "New York City is always good for some chaotic mayhem. He didn't hurt anybody, but could have been ugly." Yeah?
One thing before you do, one thing.
So it really was a serious case of assault.
Oh, God, stop
Ooh.
it. Just go and stand.
You're almost dead.
And from Susan, she's right about this. New York City will be an axe-free zone next. Yes.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
don't have to ban them.
I've got to ask some questions. First of all, look at the trash bins. Obviously, this is an issue, number one. Number two, bikes? Really? You're bringing in bicycles inside the store? Okay.
It gets the food faster.
All right.
Okay.
So apparently, will that axe? All right.
Hold it before you do. And from CSG, well, he didn't cut the mustard.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
And now,
hey! This guy wasn't trying to do the falling down. With Michael Douglas.
That's a scarifying thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want breakfast. Anyway, what the other thing that gets me is this guy over here. Dude, the guy's got an axe. That's not the time to go, "Hey, man," and put your arms up. That's too late at that point. You better be ready to rumble or run. Okay? As soon as he brought that axe up, you should have been gone. Sticking around to see what happens is not a good plan. Just putting it out there.
Yep.
Actually, to be serious now, okay, the trays they use in McDonald's would actually do quite well against that axe, because it'd swing, cut halfway through the tray, you twist the tray, causing the tray to drop, the axe to drop, and suddenly you got an unarmed...
And now he's coming back out. "Here, bro, settle down." The guy, this is a nice hatchet, by the way. I must admit this. This is a pretty good hatchet. So yeah.
To MC to point out the niceties of the weapon being used.
Actually, funny enough,
You look at that thing.
said,
It's well constructed. It's all metal, right? Metal shaft, metal hand, right? It's nice and thin. This is something you could throw. You could use it as a throwing implement, right?
But yet, and I realised in New York, so it doesn't apply. But
Well,
yet, you're in a country with guns.
Okay.
He has an axe, you have a gun.
This guy, I give him credit for trying to stop this, but this guy, these people here, why are you still in the store?
Yeah.
All right. What? Which leads to the next question. How are we getting these pictures? What is the idiot with the camera doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He brought his cell phone because he knew he'd be viral in half a second, but after upload.
I'm just putting it out there that these people here are at least concerned of watching him. That's fine. This guy, he's trying to call him. I guess I'm assuming it's his friend, all right, or somebody he knows. Because if you try to, if I come up to an individual who is a stranger and he pulls out an axe, okay, I'm not there for a discussion any longer. Okay.
No.
Does anybody remember when we told our kids stranger danger?
Obviously not anymore.
No.
All right, and to be frank, if somebody was abusing him and slapping him around physically and he pulled an axe, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem that he didn't use it, though. I mean, he should have used it.
Yeah.
If you're there to fight, then fight. You don't pull a weapon out. Seriously, you don't pull a weapon unless you're planning to use it.
No,
And
I agree with you.
In the chat says, trust MC to notice the man's shaft.
I'm saying nothing.
R.
Here's the thing, though, okay? You realise if he'd have gone around killing people, they'd find you actually had some meat in McDonald's. Just a novelty factor. What? Did I say something wrong?
Get the chicken!
Good God.
Actually, if it was involving the chicken, the comment would definitely be, "Oh my God, I'm terrified. Click this, I'm out of here."
Okay.
Go on, TC, all yours. I have literally left it open for you.
Clark off.
Shall I continue then? I'm stopping. I'm sorry. Do carry on.
Okay.
You're egging me on there.
No,
okay.
I'm a good boy.
Isn't this where they're talking about? Wasn't it a few years ago they were talking about the Szechuan sauce? Isn't it?
Yeah. He's just like,
where's my Szechuan sauce?
oh God.
Oh, where's Rick and Morty when you need them? Anyway.
Yeah.
I stand by what I said earlier. Didn't we used to tell our kids stranger danger?
Yeah.
Now all we've got to do is get them to it again.
People, and this is why.
Yep.
Yeah. If there's
the guy with the.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Go
TC. No, it's TC. I interrupted you. I apologize.
The guy with the camera. That's kind of the fine line between being kind of the hero, recording it all, and being a complete fool. And a complete fool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Complete total muppet.
Yeah.
It's like I said, you don't pull a weapon unless you're planning to use it. Right. The guy got slapped around. I can see why he decided to defend himself. Right. And once a fight starts, the fight's not over until all sides agree that the fight is over. That's how it works.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Or one side down and not moving.
It's the same result. All right. The other side decided to stop moving. Okay. Fight's over.
Do you yield? He's not breathing. I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah. See. Works that way. Okay, let's go on to the next story because this has implements that you guys probably don't understand that I'm going to go off on. Oregon student section apologizes to BYU fans for offensive chant. Really? The Utah governors called it religious bigotry. The University of Oregon's official student section issued an apology Saturday night for some fans using a profanity-laced chant during their home game against BYU. BYU is Brigham Young University. All right.
Thank you.
In a video originally posted by Twitter user John Hopkins 2022, shared hundreds of others, a group of fans is seen and heard directing an offensive chant toward BYU fans and followers of the Church of Latter-day Saints. All right. The video caught the attention of Governor Spencer Cox, who called it religious bigotry in a tweet from his personal Twitter's verified account. All right. The University of Oregon's student section, called the Oregon Pit Crew, condemned the vulgar chant and apologized in a statement issued later Saturday. All right. Basically sitting there saying, F you Mormons. Okay? Now, what is this about? This is about a few weeks ago when a bigot, and I'm going to use the term a race-baiting, hate-filled bitch from the University of Duke, claimed that the BYU section in a volleyball tournament, right, was screaming the N-word at her repeatedly every time she came up to.
You mean the liar?
To serve the volleyball during the whole volleyball thing. The reaction when they claimed that it was is they told the security people that this happened. That they supposedly pointed out some guy who wasn't even a part of the section. This guy was tossed. Then they started looking at the video after the fact, and we find out that not only was nobody saying that, you can't hear it ever being used, and this guy wasn't even involved in anything. And yet they initially banned him for life from all events. Now, after it was proven that this bitch lied and it went viral around America, okay, this hate-filled bigot, by the time all the evidence came out, okay, it had already gone on to ESPN, where they condemned the university and they condemned all those students. And then when it came out and found out that it was all a bunch of lies, well, did they retract their statement? No.
Nope.
No.
They sit up there and said, well, these kind of things, we this kind of hurts our case and everything, but I'll be damned if I sit up there and don't, if I condemn this woman, the lying bitch that caused everything. Yeah, you bigots on ESPN, and I'm calling out you, Stephen A. Smith. You're a racist bigot. All right, what's the difference between a racist and a bigot? Do people know? I will explain it to you. A racist is someone that believes or has feelings about a race, all right, for whatever reason. If they have a negative view of another race. A bigot is someone who acts on that racist attitude. Okay, that's the difference.
You get double or triple points, depending on.
She did it to sit up there and get noticed. Duke University refuses to apologize. All these people refuse to apologize for screaming race hatred in this country. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
In fact, other universities, right, like the University of South Carolina, or North Carolina, one of the universities refused to play the Duke volleyball team, claiming they were racists.
Wow.
And it carries on over to these assholes in frickin' Portland, Oregon. What, you guys couldn't frickin', burn a house down or two? Are you done frickin' trying to burn your community down? So you decided to show up at a football game and scream racist chants about to other people? That somehow makes you a big group of people, Oregon? Who the hell would send their kids to this frickin' nonsensical school?
Her grandma was one of the politicians.
Yeah,
That's what made it spread so far.
No, it got spread even before people even knew about her grandmother. It really did. It really freaking did. Now her grandmother is a politician in Houston who then screamed racism, right, and bigotry, and she's running. Of course, now that's found out that it was a hoax. Her freaking career went just right down the toilet. But at least in Houston. But it's never about that. It's a grift by these people. They get money for this.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they get racist bigots that run ESPN, all right, and that are on ESPN to make these kind of statements, and then they refuse to apologize for their racist, bigoted rants.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to say, you said everything that needs to be said, or more point, yelled it, but I actually agree with you.
I did yell it, but this. I could have talked about it calmly, in a calm and simple manner, and just relate it like this. But it doesn't have the same impact.
I told you MC is just a passive person.
I'm also thinking of a similar incident. It didn't necessarily involve ESPN, but it was Oberlin College versus the Bakers.
Yes.
Is that a similar sort of thing?
It is similar, where they screamed racism, right? But in the case of Oberlin, at least that family, those bakers were able to successfully bring down that group, all right, by just rapping about who the real race is and who the race baiting assholes really are. Okay, if you want to move on, if you want to have a discussion of racism in this country, all right, this is something they always say. Well, they want to bring up these problems and racism. You're a racist, okay?
Right.
You're a racist. Okay, there's the problem. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it because there's an actual legitimate view of racism that happened in the country? Or are you just want to spew because I'm a black man and I feel bad about myself because I'm black? Is that what it is, Stephen A. Smith?
No, Madge, you forget one thing. You're talking about people that were kangs, okay? You can't say bad things about them.
They don't want to have a discussion about race, an honest discussion about race. They want to forward and fuel more racial division and more racial hatred because they want people comfortable with their racism. That's why. Their bigotry. Yes. They want people comfortable with their bigotry.
But they want to become millionaires and then live in white people areas.
Well, of course not. That's a leftist thing, though. Let's be honest. All right, time for another.
That's what the
I apologize for everybody if their ears are bleeding and everything. I could have discussed this in a normal tone. I decided to go antic on it. All right, but the problem with this is that this is the kind of crap that goes on time and time again. How are you going to convince people like Stephen A. Smith or ESPN or these other groups? Right? How can you convince them? All right, to stop with the antics? Well, the only way you can do it is by hitting them in the wallet. If you guys, truthfully, ban, boycott ESPN, boycott the universities that fuel this, boycott Oregon University. All right, if they're if they're playing on television on another team, just turn it off. All right, if they're going to sit up there and bring this in there and they want to sit up there and promote this kind of stuff, ban them. Hit them in their wallets.
Sure.
You know that.
And I can't help but think that there's some sort of virtue signaling going on with ESPN or this Steve, what his name is, but I can't put my finger on why.
Stephen A. Smith is actually a decent, and I'm going to be real blunt with you, up until the point where he has gone now full racist mode because he got his big payday, right? He actually would make sense now and then. Right, he was actually a decent reporter, but once he got big enough and became like he's one of the core people of ESPN, and they paid him millions, and I mean millions and millions, right? Ever since then, he's just gone off the frickin' deep end with his racist rants. He's now no different. He goes off in the same manner as Jamel Hill and everyone else that brought that frickin' that has really hammered, all right, the ESPN community. And by the way, for those people who don't know, ESPN is owned by Disney. If it's Disney related, all right, show it.
Yeah. There you go.
Done.
There's your problem right there.
Okay. They're just putting it out there. Don't buy another Disney product.
No.
Don't buy. I mean, there's nostalgia for the old movies back in the 30s and 40s when they were making their old kids movies that people want to show their kids. They released them once every 20 years, and there's that nostalgic effect to it, right? It was a money. Don't buy them anymore. Don't purchase any DVDs. Don't purchase any of these things from these people. Do nothing. Ban them.
I got to admit one thing. Okay, if they're going to make re-release stuff, I'd love to see them re-release Song of the South just to see what happens. That would be hilarious.
Anyway. All right. On to the next story. We shall move on.
Yeah.
From the Hill. All right, the left-wing political newspaper. Deal averting railroad strike has potential to fall apart. The White House brokered agreement to avert a railroad strike has the potential to fall apart, threatening widespread economic disruption right before the midterm elections. Rail workers are set to vote on a tentative deal reached between unions and railroads Thursday morning. If any of the 12 rail unions fail to ratify a new contract, nearly 125,000 rail workers could be headed for a strike. The agreement would mandate two-person crews, cap healthcare costs, and allow workers to take time off for medical appointments or other scheduled events without being penalized. All key concessions won by the union. The deal also provides a 24% raises over 5 years, back pay, cash bonuses, similar terms to those offered by the White House-appointed Presidential Emergency Board last month. But nearly 36 hours after the agreement was announced, rail workers said they still didn't have concrete deals on sick leave and voluntarily assigned days off. That raised some doubts about just how strong the new contract language was. Ron Kamenkow, I'm not trying to butcher your name, Kamenkow? I don't know how to say that, all right? An organizer at the Railroad Workers United, which represents the rank-and-file railroaders. Why did you say rank-and-file union members? All right.
So I think you're right with Kamenkow.
All right.
Just saying.
Thank you. All right. In that said, there's a lot of anger, confusion, and hostility toward the new agreement, which many workers feel is intentionally vague. Really? so, with all due respect, it's intentionally vague. Yeah. You look. What do you think? You're getting over? All right, workers are pissed off, and this time we actually have a lot of leverage, said the locomotive engineer at the Suffolk Southern, who asked to remain anonymous. Good plan. For fear of retaliation, good plan. All right. I know I'm not going to accept anything less than what we deserve. Okay. All right. The two largest rail unions warned during negotiations that their members wouldn't approve a contract that doesn't quell outrage over unpredictable scheduling, unsafe working conditions, and a lack of sick leave. For the strike threat to end, workers need to feel that the proposed contract is far stronger than the deal offered by the emergency board. All right. A survey of rail workers at the Smart Transportation Division found that nearly 8 in 10 would have voted to reject that contract. Another dilemma is that the tentative agreement reached Thursday only applies to SMART and Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trailmen, the two largest rail unions, but not the other unions that agreed to the contracts based on the less worker-friendly PEB guidance. Those nearly 5,000 rail workers of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers who voted to reject the PEB contract and authorized a strike last week. The union said it would resume negotiations this week and hold off on a strike until at least November 29th. Okay, so what does this all mean? Okay. The rail workers feel, because of the supply disruptions and the cost of gas, the cost of fuel specifically, right, which is hitting the trucking community very, very hard right now, that they've got leverage to fix certain issues. All right, specifically what they're having these guys do. Okay, they're not wrong when they bitch about, all right, schedules they have no way of scheduling these things. Right? All of a sudden you wake up one day, you get a call, and your boss tells you get to work because you got a 24-hour drive to, you're going to be on this train for 24 hours as it goes from point A to point B. And it's like, wait a minute, I was going to take my kid to the zoo. No, you're not. Now, this is a problem. This is a problem with the rail services as they exist within this nation. Okay? We have a lot of problems. Even though this country could be far better with the rails in this country, the rail people, they were one of the first to unionize, and as a result, they got in bed with the government. And once you get in bed with the government, guess what happens? You eventually get screwed over. Because the government then starts to dictate what is and isn't good for you. Okay? You let these creeps in. Now, are they being, like I said, are these people being screwed with some unsafe work conditions and things like that? Yeah, they are. I'm not arguing that point. Okay? But by the same token, you guys in the railroad unions better smell the coffee. Okay? You're not going to get sympathy from the general public if you strike. Okay, that's reality right now. The economic situation in this country is really not conducive to you guys going on strike and getting support from the average person.
I have to agree with you here, dude. And this is going back a bit before my time, but I'm sure TC will understand. It's not like Britain ever had a prime minister that had anything to do with people striking. Cough, cough, Margaret Thatcher. Cough, cough, mining. I'm sure you've heard about that one at least once.
Yes, Arthur Scargill and all that.
Did she break the miners' union?
Oh my! Break them.
Oh,
she bent them over, and they called her daddy.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
I'm
what.
Not joking.
That's what the government's getting ready to do to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something.
Right.
There's some people don't understand history in America. Okay. The railway workers in America have tried this before. All right, during World War I and during World War II.
Right.
Do you know what the government did?
Go on.
The government said, "You know what? I've got soldiers. They can drive trains." Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to have to trust TC on this, but I remember hearing something about that happened with the fire engines, and apparently there were like green goddesses. Basically, the military was actually doing the firefighters. Does that ring a bell to you, mate?
It does, vaguely. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's just something I remember hearing about, but most likely more before my time.
Now, like I was trying to say about this, right? I'm generally an anti-union person. Okay, I'm very anti-union for the most part, except for two conditions, right? When with mining, unions have to exist because, quite frankly, mining will always be dangerous. All right, and safety equipment costs money to maintain. It's not just to buy it, but to maintain it and keep it in operations. Companies will constantly, countries, government officials will constantly look to how they can get away with skimping on that shit. Okay, making it all of a sudden something that's a safety thing becomes and a danger now becomes that much more dangerous because people are skimping on the safety. And when it comes to railroads, there's issues with this right now. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. They have legitimate concerns, especially about the work hours and how they have. And I'm not talking about the work hours from a week standpoint. I'm talking about they are expecting these guys to be on these trains and drive these trains for 12 straight hours. I don't know who the hell anybody is. Yes, the trains can do. There's a lot of things you can do with automatics, but the reality is, if you're there for 12 frickin' hours, all right, straight up, you're not mentally there anymore. All right, if you're doing it
No,
day in and
no.
day out and day in and day out, you're not. And it is a safety concern for them. And nobody cares. And I'll be honest with you, nobody cares if a guy falls asleep, falls off the train, and the train runs him over. Nobody cares about it. That would just be written up in a local paper somewhere, if that. All right, about a death of a railroad worker. Okay, so these guys are not wrong about these kind of safety concerns. The 24% raise issue might be a problem. Okay, but other than that, these guys aren't wrong about some of this stuff. Okay, and in this case, I'm for these guys. I'm for fixing these problems. Okay, because a lot of the problems, quite frankly, are with the way the tracks are designed. They can fix these tracks up, and the maintenance on these tracks is shit here in America. Okay, that's reality. Okay, that stuff needs to be.
I know the feeling, dude. Same in England.
Okay, so from their standpoint, I'm generally with them. But if they strike in this environment, they're toast. I want people to. I want the guys who are listening to this. Look, this deal that you're talking about. You're right, it is vague. And yes, you're going to get screwed with it, okay? Because they wrote it vaguely intentionally so they can sit up there and go, that's not what this says, okay? This is how I interpret it. Go screw yourselves. That's what they're going to do to you. I understand that. But the problem is right now you think you have leverage because the economy is on shaky grounds and you can make it worse. Well, if you make the economy worse for everyone else, they're not going to be looking at you guys as heroes, okay? I want you to understand that. I want you rail workers to understand what will happen to you. And if you don't think that this vindictive, evil regime will not personally call out the National Guard, will not personally call out the FBI to go out there and harass you at every opportunity, you're fooling yourselves. It's a warning of what can happen if you go through with this strike. This isn't the time to do it, folks. I agree with these guys about how they're being treated. It is bullshit, okay? Especially the unscheduled bullshit nature of this. Because somebody doesn't show up for work, you get a call up when you're expecting to have the day off with your family, and now you've got to sacrifice 3 days away. It's bullshit. Yeah. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And you can ask. I mean, I'm for union workers. Most union workers, in my opinion, go pound sand. Your union is bullshit. Okay, but when it comes to something like this, and when you're talking about, well, unions are great for one reason only: fixing the work environment of workers. As long as you're focused on that, I'm all for unions. Like the moment they become less work for more money, right? Which is not the case here. Okay, then they become a drag to everybody. Right now, with all that being said, yes, there was a time period when the union workers for the railroads abused it to the point where they were living high on the hog, right? Compared to the average American. Those days are gone though. Okay, and we need to bring back more rail in this country. There's no reason for us not to have the best rail system in the world, aside from the government mismanagement of it and the government involvement in all this. That has created an environment that shouldn't exist in this country, in my opinion. Anyway, sorry. Rant over.
Impassive.
What was that, Sherardi?
Said, are you still being passive?
Yeah, I'm very flour, milk. I'm just milk toast and, mild.
Oh my God. Hold it. Nomad, are you actually admitting that you're really Tim Paul?
Oh God.
Come on.
There is no way I can compete with that.
No. I'm being serious now, okay? If you get a dictionary and look up milk toast, you look up milk toast and there's a picture of him there, I'm telling you. Guys, what is wrong with little Timmy?
He keeps going on and on and on about civil war.
I think it'd be cool if it happens, but yeah.
The Civil War is coming. He's not wrong about that. The problem is he keeps going on about skateboard. Shut up about the skateboard, too.
Yeah. Oh no, he's almost taking a break from the skateboard now. He's whinging on about his singing, so it's even worse.
What? He sings now?
He's actually released 2 records so far, huh?
Oh.
Don't all right? Seriously,
Why,
don't.
Jenson? Why? Why do you bring that up?
Who
Everyone-
needed to know about this?
You bring it up and then you say no. I mean, that's just like saying here's a great big juicy steak, but no, you can't have it. Like, why?
No. No, it's like this, okay? You put a big red button in the middle of the room and you tell everyone, don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. You're
That's
salted.
my question. Who needed to know about this? If he's that bad, why does
exactly. Yeah,
anybody
why?
need to know?
Mm-hmm.
Why
But
bring it up?
Tim Pool catches a lot of hell, and to be honest, as a guerrilla reporter, okay,
Yeah.
he's not bad. All right, there are people that are far worse, right, than
absolutely.
than what he puts
Yeah.
out. All right, and I don't. Now, I still think he's a loon. Okay, I still think
Yes.
he's not part of the solution. He's part of the problem. I still believe that. Okay, but
Uh-huh.
but as far as his ability to see the forest for the trees, he at least knows he's in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you gotta give him credit for that
Why? No, man. Why do you think he's part of the problem?
because he's a leftist.
Right.
Okay,
right.
and
He
leftists when the leftist comes,
sees the grass when he's in the fucking forest.
the problem with leftists is that at their core they're not principled, and he has no principles.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I will.
He
now
does
defend
recognize
him, which
he
feels weird.
he does recognize the hypocrisy of the hypocritical things about it, but it doesn't go far enough, and he reacts and acts on emotion rather than logic.
That
Right.
is true, but I will point
He
out
said
if you
he's just the grass when he's standing in a fucking forest.
have
But he
you
does look good.
have you actually noticed that he's actually changed a lot of his attitude? At one point, he couldn't stand guns. Now apparently he's got an absolute buttload of them. So
Right.
he may well be inching millimeter by millimeter, and yes, I know I'm using millimeters. Sorry, but that's anything small enough towards the right. Though it's going to take him a long time to get there.
Well, he's still basing everything he has on the left on his emotional outlook.
Yeah.
In order to become a conservative, you got to sit
So
there and ditch
essentially,
with the
Tim
peepees.
Pool is a woman in a man's body.
I
What?
wouldn't-
He's rational and acts with emotion. He is a woman.
Yeah, no. Actually, I was going to question a man's body. Him. Child's, maybe.
On to the next
Have
story.
you ever seen his lower half? Do you know if he has a dick?
Parkland defense
saying-
has convinced some that the killer deserves mercy. The sudden end of the defense case in Parkland mass shooting trial this week, drew criticism of and from the presiding judge, temporarily overshadowing the biggest question at issue. Was enough evidence presented to convince the jury to spare the defendant's life? If you're wondering what they mean by the trial, he's now on the second part of the trial. He was convicted. Now what they're doing is it goes to another type of trial to see whether or not they will give him the death penalty. Okay? It's impossible to say for sure. Juries are notoriously unpredictable, but at least one expert and some trial observers say they would not be surprised if the jury in the majority, whatever, how you said, Stoneman Douglas mass shooting case, were to show mercy toward the confessed gunman, Nicholas Cruz. I would much rather be the defense than the prosecution at this point, said Nova Southeastern law professor Bob Jarvis. The state has to convince 12 jurors to sentence Cruz to death, he explained. The defense needs only to have one say no. With one vote in his favor, Cruz will be sentenced to life in prison. Jarvis predicted that the defense would actually prevail. The overwhelming evidence of guilt and premeditation, the heinous and atrocious cruel acts that resulted in 17 deaths, and the mental anguish suffered by the wounded students who knew that they were living through their last moments may well be offset by the recognition that the shooter suffered from mental health disorders that were long recognized but never adequately addressed.
Why?
Okay, well, hold on here. Not only were his mental disorders, all right, long recognized, they were picked on. He went into this school with specific people in mind to punish them for the horror that they put him through in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I tell you why I think he should be shot?
No,
Seriously, I'm not joking.
hold on. Let me finish. I'm going to finish reading it, and then you can go on. The defense called 23 witnesses over 11 days to present its case, focusing on Cruz's biological mother's alcohol and drug abuse while she was pregnant with him, all right, and following it up with his adoptive mother's repeated, inadequate, and ultimately failed efforts to deal with his increasingly violent outbursts. Fetal alcohol spectrum disorder
What?
was identified as the most likely cause for his lifelong struggle with mental illness, according to defense experts. Okay, Jensen, go ahead.
Right.
Shit.
Okay. Now I'll give you the reason why he should actually be fully punished according to law, including the death sentence. He allowed the existence of David Hogg. Right there, that's his punishment. He deserves to be shot for that. The rest of it couldn't give a monkey's.
All right.
The fact that he did not kill David Hogg appalls me.
The-
No, I said bullshit because of the whole fetal alcohol syndrome disorder, whatever the fuck they called it.
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
But
Whatever.
couldn't the
about that.
authorities have acted upon all the, on all his mental, illnesses, so that he couldn't then have committed the atrocity that he did?
Oh, sure. Could they have acted sooner on a lot of the things that he was doing ahead of time? Yes, they could have.
Oh, you got picked on because you've got something wrong with your head. Oh no, I've got something wrong with my body. I get picked
Right.
on every time I talk to this group
when
of
you
ass.
when you are isolated and ostracized repeatedly in a classroom that you have to attend, you are going to develop rage and hatred toward those people.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
reality,
mean I'm gonna bring a gun into a school and shoot people for it.
right? Well,
You
Yeah,
learn
my-
to walk off words.
Shirati, my issue is that the authorities could have picked up on this, get the guy at least off the streets so that he can't do this. So yes, there is blood on his hands, but there's also blood on the authorities' hands that refuse to do anything about this.
right. Well, the other
That's
problem,
my point.
the other problem that I have with the situation is when kids are going to the point where they're constantly harassing somebody else and nobody steps in. All right. We're talking high school now, right? At that point in time, you've got to sit up there and stomp out that kind of behavior in the schools, flat out, because it's counterproductive to becoming an adult. You end up with adults like David Hogg who run around as a perpetual victim, all right?
Yes.
For things that they are partially responsible for. And when I say just because you didn't perform an act, or just because you aren't there, doesn't mean that you're not the one responsible. And this is something that people, when you turn into an adult, you learn. Just because you didn't do anything wrong doesn't absolve you of responsibility. When you're a boss of 16 people, if one of your people does something, guess what? You're responsible. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong, but you're still responsible, and you're the one who's going to be on the firing line. This is part of growing up and being part of an adult. Yeah. Now, all that being said, okay, they should have executed this guy. And the reason for it is not because of David Hogg, and trying to make a joke about that, right? The reason for it is no matter what you do with this guy for the rest of his life, he's a threat to society. Okay, he is a permanent threat to society, and the only way to guarantee a permanent removal of the threat to society, unfortunately in this case, is to execute him. Okay, I'm not happy about it. I'm not cheering about it or anything else. But this is why you put people in prison. All right, should be the reason you put somebody in prison is because they're a threat to society. However society has determined that, all right, that person is a threat to that society. The length of incarceration it should correspond with the threat society perceives from that individual's actions. Okay, in this case, this guy's a mass murderer. Okay, I think the threat is pretty damn high.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's been taught better. Picked on more by even his parents. Oh no, you've got something wrong with your head? Get over it. Deal with it. Walk it off, you little punk.
And when he refused, put him down. Hate to say
Put
it.
him in for a psych eval.
Is also something
Put him
being
in a
done
mental
about
ward. I don't
is
fucking care. Get him out of society.
is something also being done about the authorities that fail to act to prevent this kind of thing from happening in the first place?
Oh God, you're actually serious with that question? Of course not.
Well,
I thought he was joking.
the police, several of the police people have been removed from their jobs
Right.
and so forth, right? But that had more to do with their inaction that day. Okay,
Right.
which was also disgraceful. Very similar to what happened in Texas with that group of people who are running, supposed police officers that were supposedly running for their lives. All right. The thing is the people who should be in jail for a lot of this stuff, or the people who should be being held accountable for it. Too many of them are getting off scot-free. All right, because for their actions or lack of actions going on to this, including the FBI, which had also been notified about this guy or been warned about this guy. Okay,
Right.
so this guy should have been. They should have stood there and started. They should have taken action long before. This guy had a record of this. All right,
Yes.
that people could have reacted to. All right, the fact that they didn't, and don't come back and to me and say, well, there's rules and there's all these things. What you tried to do was sit up there and pat the little criminal on the head, the little proto criminal on the head, and you let him get away with it time and time again, instead of actually saying, okay, you've got to. We're serious about you having to work through this. This is why military schools and military academies were actually established, right? Because there's always kids that look at violence.
Shut your cake hole. There's
no, Girardi, shut the hell up and stop interrupting everybody.
No, there's people talking in the chat.
Okay.
Anyway, Nil says, dude, most of the quote-unquote mass shooters we have had, the FBI and police already knew about them, but yet still couldn't stop what happened.
They didn't want
And Susan says, send them to Antarctica with a blanket and a bag of seeds.
Yep. One thing though, Neil, it's not necessarily that they couldn't stop; it's that they didn't stop. Couldn't and didn't, very similar, but yet enough of a difference.
Or is it couldn't, or didn't, or won't?
Yes.
And that's very different. Can't or didn't and won't are three very different things. I understand your cynicism, though, Jenson. I do understand your cynicism.
I want to point out one more thing. When did this take place?
A few years ago.
No, really? A year ago?
No, a few years ago.
A few years ago.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, roughly.
Right. 2017, right?
Oh, wow, 5 years. Damn.
I think it was 2017. Let me check to make sure.
I thought it was 2016.
I know Dodge was around for it.
2018.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They had this guy in custody the very first day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he still on trial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he still on trial? Why is justice moving at a pace that you can't even see glacially?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we were slow.
I know.
All right. This is a problem. And what's really sad is this is fast.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
Really?
I'm not joking.
Holy shit.
Because his trial and conviction was done within 2 years. That's really actually pretty fast for some of these things like this, right? The way they go about it. All right. Because for example, look at how long it took for Epstein. Right. Look at how long it takes for these things to go through. We have a problem in our judiciary with speedy trials and things, and people looking for excuse after excuse after excuse. Now, whatever excuses you can come up with, all right, when you look at this kid and everything else, you know what? Whether you like it or not, the end result is still the same. He's a threat to society and a massive threat to society. You can't allow him with a back in society. He needs to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can deal with all the rest of the issues. All right. When you have time to deal with it. But if you don't get rid of this guy, and I'm not, and like I said, I feel somewhat sympathetic toward him, but at the same time, dude, you're too much of a threat to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God rest your soul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sad state.
Just saying, he still should have shot David Hogg.
To save the world? Yeah.
Well, at least give him an excuse to be an actual victim and rather than a freaking grifter, which is what he really is. Right? He wasn't even there when it happened. He just grabbed his freaking phone and biked his ass down there to film the aftermath.
Yeah. Pussy.
He's no different than that guy that was filming the freaking McDonald's thing.
Yeah.
Right? Except for the fact that when he started, he was actually there. All right.
Actually, hold it. You going back to that McDonald's thing? You do realise that those people that were caught on camera, it's quite likely they're going to end up suing McDonald's because their fifis will hurt. Not
providing adequate security to protect the people from the thing. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
We're fucking McDonald's. We don't do that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're looking at, if you want to know the truth of the matter, McDonald's is actually going out of its way to create so that there is nobody behind the counter.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
They are very close to taking the technology to that extent.
Yeah.
All right. And they've been talking about it. They've been warning about it. And their employees just keep, these states and keep boosting up the quote unquote minimum wage and wonder why a hamburger that used to cost $1.50 right 10 years ago is now $4.
Wow. Mhm. Yeah. Well, I hope you're doing the Burger King one next.
No, I'm not doing the Burger King one next. We do have a Burger King story though. We do have it. What moves us closer to the unfortunate finish line of getting long COVID? Sandy Lamont for CNN. Sandy Lamont, this has got to be the dumbest headline of a story I've ever read because it has nothing to do with it. You may have up to a 50% higher risk of developing long COVID-19 if you suffer from common psychiatric issues such as anxiety or depression, a recent study found. Signs of the malady include breathing problems, brain fog, chronic coughing, changes in taste and smell, overwhelming fatigue, difficulties performing daily life functions, and disruptions in sleep that can last months, even years, after the infection has cleared the body. People who self-identified as having anxiety, depression, or loneliness, or who felt extremely stressed or worried frequently about the virus, all right, were more likely to experience long COVID. Gee, a hypochondriac being more likely to have long COVID.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Really. About 40 million adults over 18 in the United States live with an anxiety disorder. 10% of the country. While over 21 million have suffered from major depression. 5% of the country. All right. Many health, which close, not exact things, but 20. All right. More than a fifth of adults in the U.S. and 23% in the U.K. say they often or always feel lonely. A Kaiser Family Foundation study said, really, people feeling lonely. With all the hookup chats and everything else you got, the fact that you just go out there, bang a chick, and then have to still go home today and cook your own meals, that's not getting you over your loneliness, really?
That's fine.
Your lack of social interactions on Twitter, where you're yelling at one another on a constant basis for stupid inane bullshit, it's not satisfying. Sending pictures of the meal that you had for breakfast. is not giving you that kind of social interaction you need as a human being when you're talking to another human individual.
Mm-hmm.
Does this surprise anybody?
Not overly, to be honest.
No, no.
Is anybody shocked by this? Shocked? All right. If you're 50% at a risk at having long COVID, or maybe it's just that the symptoms just feed into your mental malady. All right.
Yeah.
Because COVID, there are some issues with COVID that are very dangerous, and that is, for example, it does attack the nerve system to some degree. You don't lose your sense of taste, okay, and sense of smell unless somehow the nerves are being attacked.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there is some kind of nerve interaction there that's a problem. I don't know what it is. I have not. I've tried to read up on it to try and find out what it is that COVID is doing in the nervous system. But to be honest, there's a dearth of data on that to explain things because it just isn't there. All right. The real good information. There's information, but to be honest, it's somewhat, well, it's not somewhat, it's speculative in a lot of ways in these medical journals and so forth, right? Of what this can do. Okay.
Right.
And a lot of it is because I'm not sure we've really narrowed down what COVID is. The COVID tests that they came up with were shit, quite frankly, initially. And the result is they were claiming things that were COVID that probably weren't.
Right.
All right. So when you start including all of that in there and you try to roll it into one, it's hard to isolate something when you've included everything.
Yeah.
All right. If you keep throwing in more and more stuff. So
Do you think it could be because there's a deliberate attempt to hide the truth?
I don't think there was a deliberate attempt initially to hide the truth. I think there was a deliberate attempt to hide certain things for various reasons. All right, that came down to that. All right, to hide, for example, from a medical perspective, was there an intent to hide the truth? All right, about what the virus's effects and everything were? No, I don't think that was the thing. The problem was initially they were grasping at things because they didn't have a very good handle on things. Right, what's really a symptom versus what isn't really a symptom. Right?
Right.
So there was that aspect of it. Now, when people started saying, "Hey, did this come from a lab?" Was there a deliberate attempt to hide the fact that it came from a lab? Yes, there was, in my opinion. Okay,
Yeah.
It's definite that they tried to hide the fact that they themselves and that people were involved that helped fund this research and that this thing escaped the lab.
Right.
Okay, and and they tried to use false stories. Like, oh, it came from bats people were eating in the market. Okay. Can we agree now? Can I say that without getting banned, Susan? All right.
Probably not.
When it comes to this came from a Chinese lab, can we honestly say that? And I'm not saying it was intentionally released from a Chinese lab. I've never said that. But come on, this came from a lab.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This does not come from some bats in the wild that people had for breakfast. Okay?
Nope.
They admitted that it did.
Not exactly. Trust me. The way they do it, they use wishy-washy words. Kind of like, I don't know, union contracts for railroad workers.
And what pushed them to do that? You know, did they willingly admit that, or were they pushed?
Well, they haven't really willingly admitted to it, and the reason that they did it is because some of the people that were involved in this, they were looking to try and save their own bacon because they didn't want to be accused of funding this kind of research, which they were doing. Okay, and that's the reality of it. Fauci should never. If you want to talk about some of the things that Trump screwed up, Trump screwed this up by not firing Fauci immediately. He should have absolutely started going into the NIH, and anybody that stood up there and supported Fauci's attitude, they should have fired immediately.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
All
right. You should have walked into the CDC when the CDC proved itself by putting out contaminated tests. All right.
Yeah.
She should have walked into the CDC and said, "Who's responsible for this?" And said, "Me, you know, where are the people that are there?" And just started firing them. And if they tried to say, "Well, no one's really responsible," fire the entire division, because obviously they're incompetent.
Yes.
That's what needed to happen. Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but that's what the fact that Trump didn't do that and was trying to work with the bureaucracy when the bureaucracy was creating problem after problem after problem with this, all right, and then trying to cover up what they had done or hadn't done.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem that I had with it. Would it have stopped the disease? Would it have fixed any of the problems with the spread of the disease? Would it have saved anybody's lives? Probably not. Okay, even those actions, but at least you're starting to put people in there that can properly respond to things, because you can't fix things after the fact, right?
No,
the contaminated tests were put out initially. That's understandable. But the fact is you held the people who put out the contaminated tests accountable. The next time the situation grows like this, right? These people aren't involved. Number one, and the other people are going to make sure that they do it right.
Mm-hmm.
When the CDC is running around saying, "Yeah, we admit that we didn't follow our own standard protocols," how do you justify that? How do you justify that?
Good question.
This will probably get the stream banned.
Nah.
Because I'm putting out misinformation for him. On to the next story. The world's largest flower blooms in a non-natural habitat for the first time. In Bogor, Indonesia, an endangered stinky lotus flower called the giant Padma, right, known as the largest flower in the world, has bloomed for the first time outside its natural habitat in an Indonesian botanical garden after centuries of conservation efforts, according to the National Research and Innovation Agency. The flower, with a diameter of 60 centimeters, bloomed on Monday at the Bangor Botanical Gardens in the suburbs of Jakarta, following efforts to conserve the species outside its natural habitat since its discovery in 1818. The flower's diameter can reach up to 150 centimeters. That's a
big
freaking flower. That's a 4.5 foot freaking flower, man.
Nice.
Actually, something Shartia said, I completely agree with. Feed me, Seymour. And yes. But here's the question.
It's the only thing I think of.
That's fair. Here's a question we really need to think of with this, and I'm being serious now. What use is it to humanity? Why are we using all of these resources if it doesn't, A, provide some sort of chemicals that are useful for us in medical, or something akin to that? Or are we literally just looking at a big ass stinky flower? Great, brilliant.
All right, Jenson. Why did Sir Hillary climb Mount Everest?
Because it was there.
Okay, so there you go. There's your answer.
There you go.
In that case, that proves that scientists nowadays are dumbass. But yeah, that's fair. Apart from that, no, actually, you want to know why he climbed it? He didn't know what was at the top, so he went and had a look.
Anyway, the opening of one of several buds of the Rafflesia, whatever it is, Arnaldi, all right? What a name, Arnaldi. All right, the scientific name for the so-called corpse flower, right, known for its rotten stench when it blooms, capped 16 years of cultivating efforts by Sophie Mercy Dawati. All right, the senior researcher at the facility. He took 16 years to do this. The species was discovered in the forests of the Bengkulu province on the Sumatran island by a guide of British professor Joseph Arnold, all right, who joined what a dick! It was found by a guide, and this guy got to name it. What a dick! Freaking British. Look at you guys. Claiming things that other people did, all right, who joined the expedition of statesman and adventurer Stamford Raffles. Raphaelis. Neither one of these guys actually found the damn thing, and the guy who probably did discover it, right? He got gypped.
Yeah.
They named it after what a bunch of jerks.
Ouch.
Am I wrong? The
I'm
plant's
just
name
thinking
combines
it's quite funny.
those of Raphaelis and Arnold.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm finding it quite funny. An American is having a go about stealing things.
We don't claim that we did something we didn't do.
Fair point.
Okay? I'm not saying that we're not above theft. We could steal this flower, but we wouldn't claim that we named the flower, we found it for the first time if we didn't. Because Americans, when certain Americans do that and then they get caught, they are freaking ostracized. Okay? That's one of the things, claiming something that isn't true and things like that. No. But as far as these guys renaming something for their own names, give the guy credit, whatever his name was, right? Then
But
again, maybe
let's be
he
honest.
said no. I don't know.
Let's be honest, Nomad. I mean, the British are rather known for their naming conventions. I think we can think of a certain white metal that has a letter that America seems to forget how to say. Now, how is it said again?
Oh, you mean
Alex?
Z?
No, actually, no, we know you can't say that.
Aluminium.
That's the word.
Aluminum?
Yeah, that's it.
No,
no,
it's
it's not
aluminium.
It's aluminum. It was spelled aluminum. It has been aluminum since the British discoverer found it. Are Americans claiming anything about aluminum that isn't British?
No, you're stealing it from the British.
How are we stealing anything?
We
You
must
just
know.
bastardized it, you stupid
We
fucks.
didn't even bastardize it. We're giving it its proper name. The guy got the guy who found it. He got to name
You
it.
can't deny
use
that we
his
didn't
name.
bastardize the British language.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not the British
That is
language.
fair.
It's called the English language. Okay. And
It's a-
when you talk about bastardizing it, we just include other words from other countries that add to it. We flavor enhanced it. We didn't bastardize
Flavor
it.
enhanced.
Hmm.
Are we chefs?
Hmm.
Some of them.
Apparently, yes.
Wow, because there are a lot of Americans I know that cannot cook to save their
There's
lives.
a lot of British that can't cook to save their lives either. All right.
Jenson
no.
is one of those Brits.
This is true, but I'm just going to point out Gordon Ramsay end statement. Okay, that's it. You want to argue with that one at all, Shorty? I don't think you do.
I just said that some can't. All right. I didn't say all of them. All right.
Fair.
Okay.
And let's be honest, the British are more
How
interested
many
in
restaurants?
presentations than they are. Even Gordon Ramsay is more interested in presentations than how the damn thing tastes.
Mhm.
How many
Yeah.
restaurants does Gordon Ramsay have in America, you British fuck?
I don't know.
A couple, actually, but I don't know the exact number. I will freely admit that I don't know.
How do we go from Gordon Ramsay cuisine from the corpse flower?
Oh, you noticed that part? That's really quite impressive.
Just
I can't stand the guy.
Oh, no one can.
No.
Hell, he can't.
I think he's a pompous prick, but he's hot.
he's what?
He's a pompous prick, but he's hot.
Hot?
Oh yes, he's gorgeous.
He's hot under the collar. That's for sure.
The only way he's hot is if you throw him on a fire. Come on.
We'd fly himself at this point, Jensen. Come on.
Fair point. No,
You
in
know,
all fairness,
fine.
he's Scottish. That
Your
explains.
Yeah.
your upgrade is long overdue, Shorty. Just put it out there.
It's been long overdue for a fair few years, MC.
That's a fair point. Alpha grade cyberware incoming.
That you were wondering about talking about food. During an argument at a Burger King, a Florida man threw a cheeseburger at his girlfriend with such force that when the sandwich struck her back of the head, the woman fell over the curb onto the ground. Please charge.
How badly cooked must that burger have been?
I'm impressed that this guy can wield a burger with that kind of force. I'll be really honest with you.
It was a Burger King burger. So the patty was frozen and then cooked on a griddle.
Mm.
It must have still
Or in
been
the case, it
frozen
was
or
just
something.
frozen.
But according to
Yeah.
the criminal complaint, James Hunt, 41, and his girlfriend, all right, cohabitant, all right, argued Saturday afternoon about the victim not eating her food at the Burger King in Clearwater, the city in the Tampa Bay area. Tampa Bay. What a surprise! All right.
Mhm.
The
I'm
dispute
shocked.
And then
The dispute turned violent, all right? Cops say when the 53-year-old woman began to leave the restaurant. That is when Hunt, seen at the right, allegedly threw a cheeseburger at the victim, striking her in the back of the head. The action caused the victim to fall over a curb onto the ground. The victim's chin and lip hit the pavement, all right, resulting in an abrasion and a cut. Upon arrival at the Burger King, cops observed blood on the victim's shirt, shorts, and cheese on her shirt and in her hair. Okay.
Was it blood or was it ketchup?
All right.
I'm sorry. You know, they thought you shouldn't slow through, but was it technically food?
A Burger King worker
Oh
told
my
the
God.
cops that before Hunt walked away from the restaurant, he struck the victim in the head while she was on the ground. Okay, now that's a little. You definitely
that's
need
a
to go
low
to the.
blow.
All right.
Yeah, really low. She was laying down. So.
When Hunt reportedly admitted to throwing the burger at the victim, he denied striking her while she was down. Hunt also told police that he did not think that the cheeseburger strike caused her to slip off the curb and fall to the ground.
So was she drunk?
just saying
It
Florida.
doesn't. It doesn't. It's a good question. All right, but there's nothing that says that. Charged with felony domestic battery, Hunt is being held in the county jail on $15,000 bond and ordered by the judge to have no contact with the victim. He's not even going to be out of jail. Does this guy look like he has $15,000 laying around?
He doesn't
No.
look like he has $5 laying around.
I agree.
That's probably why he was at Burger King.
That's probably why he was upset when she wouldn't eat the burger because he paid for it. All right. All right. Hunt, identified as a mechanic in court papers, has 2 prior domestic battery convictions, both which date back to 2002 in Arkansas. Yeah.
Wowzers.
Hey, Jenson. Don't you reckon these burger jokes about Burger King are getting a little crusty?
They get me steamed, I tell you that. And in all fairness, they are really getting rough in my grill. Just so you know.
Hey,
Oh.
I had to.
Well, the difference between a McDonald's burger and a Burger King burger is the ability to use one as a weapon. You gotta, if you go to McDonald's, you kind of have to bring your own weapon.
yes.
Burger King, you just hit the food. They supply the weapons for you. Just put it out there.
Yeah. Oh,
you
my
don't
God.
hear about somebody getting hit in the back of the head with a Big Mac and laying on the ground. Okay.
No, it's got to be at least a quarter pound with cheese.
Even then, I
In all
haven't.
fairness, okay. In all fairness, if someone threw a burger at me, I'd eat it. Okay, it's just,
You got to catch
seriously,
it first.
I
You'd
have.
probably catch it out of the sky.
I would,
Yeah.
but he's actually trained me how to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
What?
Free food.
Huh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What weren't we talking about?
I know what's good in life. Go on.
McDonald's
Oh,
burgers.
that one. Oh, yeah.
Are we ready for the next story? This one's sick.
No one is ready for this. Nobody is ready for what you're about to do.
Mother busted for series of vile Snapchat vids. Really? This is not vile. This is absolutely horrific. And this person needs to be put down. All right, September 16th, in a series of vile Snapchat videos, a 26-year-old mother of 2 recorded herself engaging in sexual activity with her 3-year-old, and while breastfeeding her younger child, filmed the family dog licking her private parts, according to the Florida court records.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Natalie Wagner, 26, is facing scores of felony counts in connection with 15 separate videos that investigators received last month. Why did it take them a month? All right, from Snapchat following the issuance of a subpoena. Why did you need to get a subpoena to get this shit? All right? Wagner, is seen at the right, is being held in the St. Lucie County Jail in lieu of $1.2 million bond. That I can agree with. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Crank the freaking
Hey.
money up.
It probably took them so long because Florida is still gonna Florida.
Okay. Until her arrest last month, Wagner shared a Port St. Lucie home with her husband and the couple's 2 young boys. At the time of Wagner's bust, the minors were removed from the residence by child welfare officials. A judge has
wonder
barred
why.
Wagner and her spouse, right, who has not been charged. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with all due respect, this woman is doing this kind of stuff and the husband didn't know about it? Dude, you should be charged with just outright stupidity if that's the case.
If nothing else, why is he not divorcing her? I mean, let's get
Exactly.
blunt here.
Exactly.
Alright. He
Yeah.
may not know what she was up to, but the second he found out, if he's not on the phone to his lawyer, something's really
Yeah.
wrong with him.
Investigation of
Yeah.
Wagner, seen above, all right, began after Snapchat flagged her account and reported it to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. All right, cops say it detected an illicit photo, all right, that had been uploaded to Wagner's account in early May, and that the material was distributed to other Snapchat users. Early May, you reported this in early May, and it's September before you make an arrest? The 30-second clip shows a prepubescent male child with an erect penis having vaginal intercourse with an adult female, according to investigators who charged that Wagner and her son,
Mhm.
who turns 4 in December, are the individuals seen in the video. Police noted that they were first questioned Wagner at her home on August 11th. Her eldest son was wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt similar to the one worn by the victim in the Snapchat video. I don't even want to read this anymore. This is just absolutely disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right?
I'm going to put this bluntly. There is only one punishment for her. Burn her. I'm being serious. Build a bonfire, shove a stake in it, nail the bitch to it, and set fire to it. Anyone got a problem with this statement?
Right.
No.
The final paragraph. The case against Wagner, who does not have a criminal record, has expanded to include a variety of felony accounts, including possession of child pornography, incest, sexual battery on a child, sexual activity with an animal. All right? She is scheduled for arraignment on October 17th. Why don't you arraign her tomorrow?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. October? Why is it taking that long?
This is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I do have one problem with what Jenson said about the burning her. Don't make it so fast. Burn her slowly. Piece by small piece.
I'm okay
Make
with
it
that.
painful and last a very, very long time.
I'm okay with that.
This is absolutely sick.
Yeah.
All right. And it gets worse. The descriptions of the depravity get worse. And these are things that were recorded and uploaded to Snapchat in May.
Oh, how can a person be so screwed in the head? I'm speechless.
And she put up a menu of videos to pay for things so people could purchase, like private Snapchats, $10 each.
Oh, God,
bathroom
no.
contents, $10 each. Lactation
No.
contact, $10 each. All right. Videos, just explicit contact, $10. All right.
Wow.
All right. This woman.
Oh.
This woman is screwed in the head.
Yeah.
Okay. And her husband doesn't know that she's making side money on this.
Now we all find out what OnlyFans is really like.
I mean, what could have happened to her that like is this entirely of her undoing? I mean, what could have happened to her to have made her like this?
That's actually a very good question.
It is. It is a good question. It does beg the question, what the hell is going on? But like I said, it seems to me like the husband, he could not have been completely ignorant of something like this.
No.
Right, that's just. I mean, these are videos she's distributing and selling. He doesn't know what's on the computer. Come on.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is it is it all nature? Is it all nurture? Or is it just 50-50? This is it. I don't know.
Nor do I. I'm sorry, mate.
No.
I have nothing to say to that.
No. I get that. I'm just raising the question.
Yeah.
It's horrific to do that to your own child, for crying out loud. You are so lost and depraved that you're doing that. And I know what people are thinking. I know that there's some jackass out there going to make the comment, well, at least he didn't kill the child. She didn't kill the child.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it's like, no. This whole thing, look, guys, this stuff needs to be put. People are trying to normalize this kind of behavior. The fact that she was willing to put it up on a videos on a Snapchat and try and make money from it shows you just how far the normalization of this kind of ridiculous activity has been allowed.
Yes.
All right, and there's only one.
I'm just going to say this: bungee strap, cheese wire, and
You wonder why back in the day they had people hanging in little cages, and people would walk by till they died, and even after they died, they let them hang there for years and years and years as an example to other people. All right.
OnlyFans version 1. Yeah.
Time to kill the animals. There are certain animals that need to be put down. Certain animals that are rabid, even if they don't have rabies. They need to be put down. This is one such animal. An unpatriotic raccoon repeatedly invades officials' homes and poops on the flag. Screw it. All right, get the shotgun. Let's put an end to this now. All right, you cannot have raccoons pooping on the American flag, folks. You just cannot allow this. Screw the raccoon. All right. A county official in New York said that his home has repeatedly been invaded by raccoons, and one of the unpatriotic animals pooped on a flag. Sam Fine, an Albany County legislator, represents the 6th District, said that the raccoons invaded his home in the south end of Albany on 3 occasions in recent weeks. He said the first incident was when he left the back door open. You're a dumbass. Okay, for his cat. All right, the second was when he was having a cat door installed. You're a real dumbass. All right, and the third involved the raccoons chewing through a screen to gain access. The legislators said that the most recent incident happened while he was visiting Lake George for the weekend and got a call from his neighbors about mysterious noises coming from his apartment. I have an indoor camera, so I logged onto my camera and saw I have a raccoon in my house. He said that the repeat visitors have stolen food, rummaged through his belongings, and left some unsavory messes. I noticed that they caught in a cabinet on a folded up American flag in it, and they pooped on the American flag. The animals have got to go. All right, we need an exterminator, to exterminate all the raccoons in this area, because this is obviously a viral British plot to try and take back New York. Okay?
Oh, fuck off.
He's found out what we're up to.
Oh.
Damn limeys. You can't tell me. You cannot tell me that this isn't being done on orders from the Queen or final orders.
That's possible. One thing I would point out are you trying to say, it's okay, are you trying to say that this is the ultimate in meth trash panda. 'Cause let's be fair, it really is the ultimate.
Oh God.
Well, on it. One sec. Susan, she's just said she had raccoons in her garage this spring. Has she let them out yet, or are they stuck in there? That's the question. Just saying, she did not say.
Make sure they're saluting the American flag and unleash send them to New York to unleash hell.
Actually, if it's in New York, does that really surprise you that a New York panda is popping out on the flag? And yeah, I know I said panda. I said that deliberately.
Hey! I've got an idea. Why can't we let these raccoons loose on that woman in the previous story? Just
because she'd probably make too much money on OnlyFans.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
TC, you're not helping the situation.
But how can our fantasy be any worse than what that woman's dreamt up? Come on.
Do not ask them to hold your
Look at this. Didn't I comment about making things worse? And here's TC hopping up. Oh, she was a furry too.
Technically she was. She did.
I don't need you don't need to encourage this, Jenson.
Sam.
And you thought I was just taking the mickey out of the British, that it wasn't a serious offense, right?
Oh, it just keeps getting worse.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
This is what happened. Oh my God.
It's streams like this that makes me really miss Dodge and Cabby.
Oh God, could you imagine what they'd be like?
Oh, if I'd have said that to Cabby, it would have been odd.
Oh.
I'll be honest with you. If I had said that with Cabby, she'd have freaking gone off like a fucking rocket.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
TC's F off. That's nothing compared to that guy.
Exactly.
Cabot would be talking about that for freaking good decades and decades.
Yeah. And me trying to get out, shut your fucking cake hole like I did earlier to you, and you going off of me. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I can't kick you. It's really
you and Cabby go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, but it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you understood. It was fun, and that was the point.
Yeah.
No, but you could sit and scream at Cabby on a stream, and then afterwards, he was your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't shut up, but he was your best friend.
Denver Airport has the world's largest animal therapy program. Really, you need to transport this to New York. All right. Anyway, Denver International Airport's Canine Airport Therapy Squad, or CATS. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You have got to be kidding me! Was awarded the Guinness World Record as the world's largest airport therapy animal program. The CATS program, which began in 2015 with 28 dogs and 14 breeds, now includes 84 dogs, all right, from 33 breeds and 1 cat.
Mm-hmm.
You do realise what they are, don't you? They're actually trans speciesists. That's why it's been allowed to happen. The cats think they're dogs. The dogs think it's a cat. There you go. Sorted.
The animals are taken to locations around the airport with plaid vests, inviting travelers to pet me.
How about no?
Does that mean I can punt them?
Especially if they're small breeds.
All right.
If you are going to kick any dog right in its knackers, you got to kick those guys that were dressed up in the dog uniform with that nuclear waste dude that you've got.
I could kick the woman from the previous storyline.
No, your foot may well disappear. Let's be honest.
The world record. We're making jokes, folks, so please don't take too much offense to this. You can take as much. Well, actually, I don't care if you take any offense to it. But why would you? A program meant for dogs. Why would you call it cats?
I know.
I mean, do you realize how detrimental that is to the psychology of the poor dog?
Because they are trans species. They want the
It,
dogs to be cats.
That's
it
just
could
a
be
problem. That might be true. Sorry, man. Go on.
it could be catastrophic.
Oh. We are extremely
Yeah.
proud of our cats program and grateful for all the volunteers who donate their time to bring joy to our passengers and employees. The airport CEO, Phil Washington, was quoted on KUSA TV, right, saying at a Thursday ceremony, the continued growth of the program is a testament to the positive impact it has on travelers. You know what they're not telling you? They're not telling you that what they really are doing with these dogs, right? Is they're letting them roam up and down the things and saying, "Get to your freaking gate," and then they unleash them. All right, barking and
MC?
snapping at them. Move, 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 move.
MC, I think you did a story about this, but Susan's asking, did you hear about that companion alligator?
Yes, I did. I did do a story on that. The Philadelphia alligator companion.
Says it all, really, doesn't it? You do realise that this, as you're calling it, cat, actually has its own theme tune. Oh, wait. 3, 2, 1. Who let the dogs out? And there is your bad joke for the evening, and I am done.
It's not nearly as bad as Batman could do, and you know it.
I know,
Jenson.
but he ain't here. Yeah.
Jenson, stop being so dogmatic.
Oh, it's continuous, folks. It's continuous.
No. Let's be fair, TC. You just have to lead me around and show me how to do it.
Oh.
Whatever you do, don't collar me on it because that could be awkward. You are.
You
Very good. Very good.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good.
I do, but
See, now, this story is a decent story.
Oh.
This is a good story.
Oh, God.
This is a feel-good story.
oh.
Arizona shops 266 milkshake flavors earns the Guinness Book of World Records. An Arizona ice cream shop earned the Guinness Book of World Records by offering 266 different milkshake flavors, all right, making them all in just over an hour. Okay, now that's pretty impressive. You made 266
big-ass
milkshakes in
lumberjack.
an hour? You were busting ass, man. All right. Snowcap, an ice cream shop in Seligman, I cannot pronounce it. All right, attempted the world record for the most milkshake flavors on display, and the event was timed to coincide with a visit from the motor oil company Mobil 1 as part of the Keep Route 66 tour. The Guinness World Records adjudicator was on hand at the shop's owners, and the Delgadillo family made every milkshake on the menu in about an hour and 15 minutes. The unusual flavors prepared by the shop include peanut butter and onion ring, banana and chili, orange and fish burger. Dude.
That's just
Oh,
wrong.
That's what I
okay.
said, oh my god, about.
Mm-hmm.
Fish burger? Really?
Yeah.
I can deal
Again,
with
we're
the
going back to
I
the
can
previous
deal with the
story.
onion rings. Okay.
I actually want to try that. Fish burger, get the fuck away.
I'm not interested in banana and chili. That just sounds disgusting. Okay? I'm sorry. Peanut butter and onion rings sounds interesting. The banana and chili, no, that doesn't sound good. But it's, there are people that might want to try it. But orange and fish burger, I don't want an orange fish burger, okay?
Susan in the chat says, why not Limburger cheese?
I give people ideas. All right, you don't need to be giving people bad ideas to make things worse.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, that's the last story I've got for the day.
Okay then. Is there anything you two would like to say at this point?
Yeah, love you. See you later. Bye-bye.
That sounds good. In that case, thank you for coming along, everyone. We are grateful for you listening to our absolute gibberish. And oh my God, that woman with the baby and the dog, she needs to be erased from existence.
Agreed.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.